And welcome to another episode of Color Break, a comic book podcast. I'm your host, Cody, or Cody Collects, whichever one you want to call me. We got a nice chill episode for you guys. Here with my host, Christian. How's it going, dude?
How's it going? Hey, bud.
Yeah, man. No guest this time, right? We're just us, just chilling.
Straight chilling. Honestly, it's I missed this. I started to miss it when we're not recording.
Right. I don't know. Do we want to give them a little hint of what's to come in terms of who our guests are going to be, or should we keep that secret?
We can say the one with the reading
Okay.
homework, if you will.
Go for it, dude. I'll give you the honors. You can announce it.
So me and Cody in our first episode mentioned how we don't know anything about the X-Men. And we know a certain character, a certain person called Uncanny Ken, who's like the biggest X-Men fan I know. So much so that Marvel will send him a package for the X-Men.
That's true. He's on Marvel's watch list. Like they know that he's the X-Men guy.
Yeah. And we talked to Ken about some reading, like things we should read X-Men related. And we got recommended 3 series, and we're gonna read the first volume of those 3 series. And from then we'll review all of them. We're not gonna say which series they are because not yet. But you can expect that. You can expect that in 2 months.
For sure, yeah, because it's gonna take us some time to read it. I think we'll probably announce it later on. That way, if people wanted to read and get ready for the episode, they could. But not for right now. I think we'll keep that secret for now. But yeah, so that's to come. Look forward to that sometime in October.
It's subject to change, so we don't want to lie to you.
Hold ourselves. Yeah, we don't want to. We gotta make sure we can access all the books, at least digitally, or if someone finds it in a comic shop, just to make sure that we can read it before we announce it. But yeah, that should be fun. So look forward to that. But that's in the future, Christian. Right now, dude, in this moment, I want to talk to you about our recent comic book purchases. I think this would be a fun segment we could do from time to time.
Yeah.
Just talk about, because it gives us more long-term or what's the word? I don't know, long form, right?
If we don't know if we don't know what to talk about, if we don't know what to talk about, we can just default to this.
Yes, right. It's going to be our favorite reoccurring segment. So I'm going to go first. I'm not going to let you go first.
I want to ask you before you go, how many do you have, just to see if we can go 1 and 1?
Okay, so right now, dude, I mean, you know me, dude. I got stuff coming in all the time, but right now I got 4. I got 4 I can talk about.
I got 7 that I haven't mentioned on the podcast, so I'm gonna go for 7.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay, so I'll go first then, and then maybe at the end of when we go back and forth, you can just rattle off a bunch. All right, so big moment, everybody. I actually picked up my first manga.
Ooh.
It's backwards for me, but you guys can see it. Look at that, huh? So for you audio listeners, Junji Ito, Remina. So people might know this, right? But I've been in a reading slump. Haven't read a comic in a week and a half. Super weird for me because I used to, for the longest time, I'd read I don't know, I think I was averaging maybe 7 single issues a day. Yeah. Haven't been reading anything. So one of the tips that people were recommending to me, it makes a lot of sense, but I just didn't click with me, was try reading some manga and try to see if that gets you out of your reading slump. So yeah, looking forward to cracking into this. Obviously, Junji Ito, horror manga dude. I got this one because it seems a little more sci-fi than his other ones. I was just reading the back. So I figured that might be like easier to get into for me because I'm a big sci-fi guy. So yeah,
Yeah.
dude, excited to read this.
Okay. Well, I'll go for mine, I guess. First of all, great. I'm trying to buy Uzumaki by Junji Ito.
Mm.
For a second there, when you said for you audio listeners, I thought you were just gonna say manga.
Oh right, and not talk about what it was. No, so
uh,
that one that you just mentioned, would you say Uzumaki?
Yeah,
I
Uzumaki.
sound like it. Yeah, so that one I saw that one too. And I think this one was also, to be honest, it was cheaper. So
I
I got
think I think
the
Uzumaki is just like the one everyone knows.
right for sure.
Like
So yeah.
I know people with Uzumaki tattoos. Like I'm not.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. That's a cool tattoo idea.
Yeah, so I got mine right here. It's I haven't read, mind you, I haven't read any of these. I started reading one, so I've got to be honest about it. But my first one is Batman, Ego and Other Tales by Darwin Cook, which is funny. It's first time I ever went to there's two coincidences about me buying that book. Um, First comic book store tour. So my first video on my account ever. Uh, the store clerk recommended that book, and it's been like 6 months, and I just bought it. So it was a pretty big moment. But not only that, the other cool thing was that I bought it at a store called Comics and Stuff. Now, Cody, would you like to explain why Comics and Stuff might be an important name to us? Do you remember?
I don't know if I do remember actually.
Comics and Stuff was the first name of Crossover Comics.
Oh, yep. You're right. You're
So it
right.
was,
That was because no one knew what to call it. I think who made the logo was Sarah, right?
yeah, Sarah made the logo.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Cool.
I bought the first book ever recommended to me on a TikTok video in the first name of her community. So that was kind of
That's
interesting.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to read it. I've heard of amazing things about Darwin Cook, and just that book in general. I know it was used for the movie, and yeah, that's about it. I'm
Yeah,
throwing
it's
it back.
definitely that's one of the they were saying is a big inspiration, right? I think I have. Okay, yeah, so I do have that. I actually got like a box set
Oh,
where
the one with
it
Long
was like
Halloween, Year
yeah,
One,
it's got like
and
three stories that were heavily inspired
I think
the
it's
new
Year
Batman
One,
movie, and that's one of them. So
Year One, Long Halloween, and Ego, right?
yep,
I've
yep,
seen
nailed
that
it.
box. Yeah, like I mean, knowing
Yeah,
comics.
it's pretty cool. I got it because it comes in a really cool slipcase that I don't find anywhere. All right, so the next one, right? My number two purchase. It's a graphic novel called Day Tripper. So Day Tripper, it's written and drawn by these. I guess they're two twins or something. I don't know, but it won the Eisner, which is always it means it's pretty good, right?
Yeah, if it wins something.
But I guess it's right. I guess this is like one of those that's gonna make you cry. So looking forward to that.
I
It's
cried
like
the other day.
yep.
I cried at the off. I was at my office in my on my break, just sitting at my desk crying because I was reading Spider-Man Blue.
Oh, there you go.
So I
That's the
understand.
tricky part about reading at work.
Yes.
um, but I don't know, too much about it. But I know that everybody recommends it. I guess it's a story about this dude, and it's like select moments of his life that were really important to him, like when he met his girlfriend and a
That's
day with
cool.
his parents and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, so it's one of those deep books about life and stuff. Gotta love it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go for two, mainly because like you have four and I have seven.
Yeah, dude, go for it.
So I have Curse Words by Charles Soule. I know nothing about this book, but I know I love
Charles Soule,
Charles.
though, dude, he's on fire right now.
I know I love Charles Soule. 8 Billion Genies, Darth Vader, love him. So and this just looks cool. It's for audio listeners. There's a man with a ripped shirt with a koala on his back and just lightning shooting out of his finger. Like, isn't that cool?
Yeah,
It's called Curse Words. Like, and then the other book I got is I Hate Fairyland. by Scotty Young. Now, and I'll say this right now. I talked about it the other day. Uh, as far as variant covers go, I don't really like gravitate towards like Scotty Young covers, and I know that's very controversial because everyone loves them. But that's not to say I don't like his writing. Twig is fantastic, and I looked at I Hate Fairyland, and it just looked like a really cool concept, and I bought it. So yeah.
I'm the one thing I'll say, I'm kind of with you, right, about Scotty Young variant covers. They're not my favorite kind of variant covers. Like I'd much rather have like a peach momoka or something. Some of them are pretty cool, but definitely respect people who are going for Scotty Young covers. I think that's pretty cool.
I think my thing is I like standard covers, but I like covers that go with the story. And most of the Scotty Young covers that I've seen don't follow the story of the book. So I like looking at a book and kind of expecting what I'm getting into.
Right.
I judge by the cover. The one thing they tell you not to do, I do.
No, I see what you mean, because like also when you're flipping through your long box, like having it all be cover A's is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think, for me, like I would get a variant if it was if I already had the cover A, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if I've mentioned this, but one of the things I'm really angry about is that Nice House on the Lake. I have every single issue with the A cover because they all have the same motif. Like they all look the same, except for issue number 3. And it's a beautiful variant. It's a beautiful variant, but like it doesn't match the rest, and I'm honestly angry. Like I'm pissed off about it.
Nah, man, I feel you.
So yeah, but those are the 2 I got.
Cool, dude. I'll do one more. Oh, I got 2 more, but the next one I got right. Wonder Woman, Dead Earth.
Oh,
nice
I don't know.
hardcover. So, written and drawn by Daniel Warren Johnson, who is just on fire right now with Jurassic League, and he did Murder Falcon over at Image. He's doing Do a Powerbomb right now, which I really like. You guys might hear more about it later in the episode, but I really like Do a Powerbomb. So I kind of wanted to collect everything Daniel Warren Johnson, and this gets me one step closer. I haven't read a lot of Wonder Woman, but everybody says this is a pretty hardcore metal inspired Wonder Woman story. So
well, that's cool.
Definitely looking forward to reading that. I think it's it must be post-apocalyptic. I'm pretty sure. But yeah.
Well, that's cool. That's really cool. Actually, I like that. I might get it at some point.
Yeah, I just gotta say too, this is I got this off of eBay, and it's like really clean. I don't know if the person even read the dang thing, which is pretty funny. But
that's better for you.
Right.
Yeah, eBay scares me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
I feel that. I typically I've been trolling around eBay trying to find some good stuff. Mostly like deluxe editions of like DC series or Image series. And I don't buy anything unless it has a picture of the actual thing.
Yes.
Like sometimes they'll just do like a screenshot, and I'm like, how am I gonna know the quality of the, you know what I mean? Like I want to see all the corners and stuff, right?
The most I do on eBay is if I'm doing a store tour. And my store tours on TikTok, for people who like found us through the podcast and not TikTok, I make store tours. And whenever I buy something, I show what it is and I show the cover price. Sometimes for some reason, forget that I have my books right here. So I look up the cover price online, even though the books are right next to me. And I look on eBay because people post a picture front and back, and the Image books have the price in the back.
Right.
So,
yeah, that's a good tip.
If you forget
so
that
it is helpful
if you forget that your books are right next to you and you want to know how much they were, look them up. Mind you, I do that even having Comic Geeks on my phone, where I have the price of everything I buy.
Right.
My brain doesn't compute some things. But okay, I
It's
can
alright,
go
dude.
for 2 more since I have so many books that I bought and not talked about.
Lay it on me.
You just hit the table, man. Oh, what are you drinking today, Cody?
It's classic. Oh, this is Coke Zero.
I'm,
Nothing
drink-
wild, just some Coke Zero.
I'm drinking some tea, and not like
Nice, dude.
not like sweet, not like that tea you take to go to sleep. No, this is just like Arizona.
Nice.
I don't know. Not maybe some people might want to know. I don't think anyone cares though. So I bought Fantastic Four Full Circle. Now this was in the background of the last issue of the podcast, but it's great. I mean, I love Alex Ross, and I've said a million times that Alex Ross is my favorite artist, which is really basic. Wow, Cody, you
So
got
that was now that you brought it up, I'll show. That was my last one that I was going to
just
talk about
pull
today.
it up right here.
Dude, I'm so excited to have this. It's
This'll
so
be-
sick.
This is gonna be the thumbnail. Just us holding up Fantastic.
Dude, have you flipped through it at all?
Oh, it looks great. I haven't read it. So Fantastic Four Full Circle is, if I'm not mistaken, Cody, you can correct me because you know more. It's the first comic book written and drawn by Alex Ross fully. Now I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think he did one like way back in the day or something. But this is his first in like a really long time.
Yeah. So
Or it's his first, either one.
listen, and if I'm wrong, I don't really care. Let me live in my fantasy world. But I love Alex Ross, and might really be really basic to say he's my favorite artist, but he is, so I don't care. And it just looks beautiful. If I'm honest with you, I don't like how oversized it is. But I'll
Right. I
put
thought
up-
you'd have a problem with it.
I'll put up with it just because it's him. It's also my first Fantastic Four book ever. I know of their existence.
yeah.
Never read any of them. And I'll show another book that I got. Well, my girlfriend bought me this. I mentioned it on TikTok, but Strange Adventures, and by Tom King.
Nice.
The cover is beautiful, first of all, and it just looks like a really good book.
Yeah,
My girlfriend just said like, "Hey, pick a book," and I made a list, and I show her my last two were the Flintstones, and this one. And I don't know if she thought the Flintstones was a joke, but she was like, "Nah, Strange Adventures." So yeah, I mean,
Right.
I'm happy regardless. So yeah.
Dude, okay. That is a perfect segue, actually.
I haven't finished
Because our next. Oh, okay. My bad.
but hold to anyone who's listening right now, just hold that thought. Okay.
Right.
You know what? I'll say it again in a second. I'm not even gonna cut this part out. I'm just gonna say it again, and we're being honest here. I'll just fast forward through my next two. I got this bad boy right here, Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh, nice.
Omnibus 1. It's a variant cover. Cody has the exact same one, and I bought it because you showed it to me, and I bought it. It has the first what is it? 40 issues?
30 something, right?
Yeah, 30,
Oh, okay.
39,
40.
39 and a half
Gotcha.
issues of Ultimate Spider-Man. I'm liking it a lot. I'm on like issue 2, so I've read nothing. And now I'm going to show something, and I'm going to be honest with you. If you listen to this, don't feel cheated. You're going to get why. And Cody got it too. The Flash by Jeff Johns, the first omnibus. And I'm saying you'll feel cheated because I unboxed it to show it here. And I'm going to do an unboxing later for TikTok. So I'm going to reseal the box and pretend like I never opened it. And so I'm going to post it today, and then people are going to listen to this podcast and be like, what? You lied to us. That's just that's just movie magic, man.
Dude, that is a great segue, Christian,
Hey,
to our next topic, which is what are some things, not like a whole long list of things, but what are some things that we want in the future, right? So I'll start off, right? Because you just talked about Flash Volume 1 by Jeff Johns.
yes.
I would want to complete Flash by Jeff Johns. So that's something on my list is Volume 2, Volume 3.
Okay.
But I think for me, they're not as high priority because if I'm not mistaken, they just got reprints.
Yeah.
So, I don't think they're going to go out of print for at least a little bit. So I'll
This
probably,
one was going out of print,
you know,
so
volume 1 for sure, yeah. But I think I'll wait on 2 and 3. I think I'm in a good spot for that.
oh, and let me say where I got
So,
it. Just I know you bought
oh, yeah.
it at the same place as me. Organic price comic books, or is it just organic price books?
Organic Price Books.
Organicpricebooks.com. They're not sponsoring this, but for anyone who's trying to
No.
buy cheaper books, and they just want to know more about it, it was, you can even pay them off sometimes. You can be in debt,
Right.
but have a good book. But yeah, that's just
You get the
helpful.
book up front and you stay in debt for a little bit. It's
It's
whatever.
it's a good tip for people who want to start buying omnis. You can pay it off for payments, and
Right.
it's just and they're cheap. They're organic price books. But now I can say
Yeah.
what I want. I've been talking to a bunch of people just about what books I should be reading, and I want to start reading Green Lantern, so I'm gonna stay in the Jeff Johns track and say Green Lantern by Jeff Johns, the Omni. That's one I've been looking for, and someone's doing a giveaway for it right now, and I hope I win.
Ooh. Nice.
So yeah.
That one, if I wanted to get into Green Lantern, which I don't really want to right now, that would be on my list. That sounds mean, but it's just, for me, that one's like lower priority. Like, I have a huge, wish list, right?
Oh,
That one's like, I'm not super,
I
I'm not
cannot.
like
I cannot
itching
get
to
in.
get
I
that one,
cannot get
but
into my entire wish list right now because we would never stop
for
talking.
sure, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
You want to say another one?
But people say, yeah, real quick, I'll just say people say that that's like one of the best Green Lanterns run. So it's
Oh,
definitely
100%. Yeah.
one of them. If you're trying to get into the character, I think it's Hal Jordan focused. He kind of brought Hal from being
What?
kind of an asshole and kind of gave him breathed new life into the character, right? So
Well, you can go ahead and say your next one, and then I'll just get back to mine, but it'll make you laugh.
yeah, for sure. So my next one, I just pre-ordered it, so I don't know if that counts, but I got The Flash by Mark Waid,
Oh, Rebirth.
Volume 1. Yeah, on pre-order. So
Oh, that's fun.
looking to get that I think it's sometime in November, which kind of stinks, but it's
I mean,
pre-order. What
that's
are you
not
gonna do?
not bad. Honestly, like I can put up with that. I'm gonna just like fire the next three I have because like it just makes me
Sure.
laugh because it's three things that people have recommended to me about characters I want to start reading. So next I have Aquaman by Jeff Johns again.
Yep.
Then I have Teen Titans by Jeff Johns.
Yep.
Honestly, yeah, no, I'll stay there because I could keep saying Jeff Johns books. And I don't know. Whenever I talk like seminal runs, like oh my god, where should I start reading Aquaman? Dude, Jeff Johns, The Flash, Jeff
Right.
Johns. It's just like his name. Never read anything that the guy has made. Never.
Dude, he's a legend. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, you know what's funny, dude? I have that Teen Titans omnibus sitting in a box waiting to get unboxed. Dude, if I show people my pile of omnis that haven't been unboxed, people are gonna be mad. They're gonna riot in the streets.
I think I've seen
But
it.
the
Which
way I
is...
do it is, you're right. Like, I don't want it to be in the background of my stuff if I
Oh no
haven't
no
unboxed it yet. Does that make sense?
no. You've sent me a picture of the list and it's impressive.
Yeah, it's just so funny to me that I have so much to read in the meantime that it's like I'm fine with those. I have them, so they're not gonna go out of print on me, right?
No,
they
no,
they are
why?
just chilling. So yeah.
Uh, you go now.
All right, I got one more. So I was trying to find. So I have the Batman by Scott Snyder, New 52 run right there. You see it? Oh wait, this way. And I would like to get Grant Morrison's run on Batman in Omni form. So there's three Omnis, and you probably seen them. Like one's yellow, one's red, one's
Yeah.
blue, or something like that. So I think that would be a pretty cool one. It starts pretty strong. You get Damian Wayne and Dick Grayson as Batman, and Damian
Oh,
Wayne's
that's
as
fun.
Robin. Right, so it kind of starts off like pretty strong. And Damian Wayne is a character that I wanted to read more about. I really like him, like in the current Robin run that just ended, I thought was pretty strong. And I've seen Damian Wayne in some of the animated movies and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
100%.
Um, but yeah, so that should be cool. I plan on getting that. I don't think that one's gonna go out of print for a while. I don't think people are like busting down the door to get that one. So maybe I'll get volume one and then kind of sit on the series for a while and then pick up 2 and 3 later. But yeah, that'd be a pretty cool one because Grant Morrison's they are a pretty well regarded author, so
Yeah.
definitely would like to pick up some more Grant Morrison work. But
Grandma, I've been reading. Well, actually, I can't say because it's for. Actually, I can't say if I've been reading any Grant Morrison. You know why, Cody?
right.
I guess we can say. I guess we can say it already messed up. I've been reading some Grant Morrison X-Men books. Um, they are great writers. They are. They did throw a joke about Ecuador.
Nice.
And I'm from Ecuador,
They-
and I was like, I felt insulted immediately, but then I laughed. I was like, actually, you know what? I'll take it. We'll go more in
That
depth.
is super funny.
We'll go more in depth about it in like a month or two. But the other things I've been trying to like buy are the Flintstones by Mark Russell, like we were talking about before. I know it's a very like it's actually a modern like take on the characters, and it's about society. Like it's really deep, I've heard. And that just sounds like a cool book to own. And I had a question. What were the Batman books you own?
Oh, so Batman by Scott Snyder.
Great segue, Cody. Thank you. I want to get Batman by Scott Snyder. The
Nice.
first Omni. I had to throw it in there.
Okay, so I will say I don't want to alarm anybody, but if you're looking to get Batman Scott Snyder Volume Number 1, I would do it very quickly.
As it
I don't
going
want
out
to
of
alarm you or any listener, but that's one of those that me and that nerdy Papa Bear, friend of the show, we were talking about it, and we're pretty sure that one's going to be out of print very soon. And they did a reprint earlier in the year, so it sounds like that one's going to be harder to get.
you might have to get it for me, Cody. You ruined my life. I got the Flash because you bought it. Okay.
Right. Okay, so this is kind of related. It's kind of a segue. It's like a half segue.
Okay.
So I have the Sandman Omnibus Volume 1 and Volume 2, right?
Okay.
Volume 2 hasn't been unboxed. It's chilling in my closet, right? But anyways, I was looking up on eBay just to see, like DC Omnibus, see what's selling. Dude, these I'm like sitting on like $1,000 with these Sandman Omnis.
Yeah.
They're like apparently they're just so out of print. Everybody wants it because of the show, and like the show's doing pretty well. That Volume 1 goes for like $300 or something. So it's like I'm not gonna sell it because that's kind of cool just to have something that like I don't know.
I'll talk about something that like I just found out is like expensive apparently, and I know we can talk about other things we have collected in a further down on the road, in another issue of Color Break. If people are interested in like other things we collect or like just other things we consider grails in our lives. I have the first issue of the Smosh magazine. If you remember Smosh, YouTube sensations. And
Right.
And I was just looking at it. I was like, oh, I still have this. Great. I used to love Smosh. That goes for like $300 online.
That's so crazy. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense, right? Because it's Smosh still has a fan base.
Yeah.
It was probably the first time that they're in a magazine or something like that.
Yeah, and it's theirs. Yeah, so
I don't know.
Actually, I really enjoyed it when like I saw it. I was like, wow. I never got issue number. There was only 2 issues. Never got issue number 2 of the magazine because I didn't live in this country, and it was kind of hard to access. But yeah, no, that's one of those things that like you said like you're surprised that you're sitting on like a pile of gold. That's how I feel like it. That's what I think will happen with like my Spider-Man 2099 issue number 1s when the movie comes out. It'll just like
for sure, yeah.
And we have 2 movies, so I mean, I believe that when the trailer came out, the book showed up in value. That was just the trailer.
Yeah, it's always you can always earlier in the year I was kind of tuned more into like the comic book speculation game.
Yeah.
But there's always like maybe like 3 pops when like a price will shoot up. Casting announcement, always. Yes. Like when they do the first trailer, obviously, and then when the actual thing comes out, those are like you can count on that being like the 3 pops. So if you were trying to time it, that would be best time to do it. But yeah, that would be a fun topic, just like rare or expensive stuff like we have. We'll definitely put that on a list and do it later.
I have some like weird things I just collected over the years that like I own, and I'm like, oh, they really don't sell that.
Right.
Yeah.
But yes, I think for now, we'll jump into our big topic for this episode, and it's a little late, if we're trying to hit this on the midway mark. But Christian and I wanted to talk about some of our favorite comic book series of the year so far. I think we're both doing our list a little differently. I think mine is just 5 I wanted to highlight with some honorable mentions. Maybe not necessarily my. Well, let me tell you that I'll put it this way: at the very end of the year, we'll have a more refined.
Yeah.
It probably won't be like an award show, but it'll be like these are our top 10 books of the year, and it'll be more concrete.
Listen.
But for now, we just wanted to have a discussion about our favorite some series we really like.
You're so wrong. I will make an award show. I will put on Suits, Cody.
Dude, I'm kind of down for that.
And people think I might be
comics.
People think I might be kidding. We'll do a color break award show for our favorite series of the year, and I will wear a full suit, no problem.
You like dressing up, dude. So
I enjoy a good suit,
More details to come on that. That would actually be really funny.
Oh, we
have all our friends of the show to be chime in and like do write-ins and stuff.
Yeah, we've been sitting
nominations.
And I guess the good thing about this is this show feels so relaxed, and that's why I like it so much, is that we can be candid about this. We have like a list of things we want to do, and some of them are like normal, and some of them are like not wild, but like increasingly harder to do. And right. It's exciting when we're like, actually, I think we can do this,
Right. And listen, it's all thanks to the listeners, right? Thank you guys for all your suggestions. Leave them down in the comments if you're on YouTube, or if you're on Spotify. There's also a place where you can write in topic suggestions. But yeah, we like hearing from you guys, and it really, I don't know, the support has been really strong for the show, so it keeps us motivated to keep going.
And I want to say this: I think when you're a small show like this, we read every comment. If someone comments something, I will know. I'll read everything because it's exciting. It's honestly exciting. But also, I would like to think that if we grow, which I'm not saying will happen, but if we grow, I would like to keep reading everything. I enjoy just reading comments.
So true.
I cannot wait for it.
Right. So Christian, I don't know how you have your list set up, but I've got some honorable mentions that I can just run through real quick, and then maybe we can
do honorable mentions. We can do honorable mentions for our first.
All right, so my first honorable mention is Superman Space Age.
Oh, that one's new.
The reason why I made this an honorable, the reason why I made it an honorable mention is because it only has 1 issue so far.
Yeah.
And the first issue was really strong, but I guess I'm just waiting on issue 2, and I think it's a 3 issue series. They're oversized comics, so they're really, they're thick. But yeah, I guess I'm just waiting for issue number 2 before I consider it in my end of the year list or whatever.
Okay.
So.
I guess I'll do an honorable mention. Uh, Jurassic League. And it's only an honorable mention, and I will say because I thought issue 1 and 2 were fantastic, and it kind of slowed down a little bit. It's picking back up. There's only one issue left, I think. It's picking back up, and I'm really enjoying the series. I think it's really funny, and I just think it's great, honestly. And yeah, so Jurassic League didn't make the top 5, but it's an honorable mention. I'm not gonna lie.
Nice. So I got another honorable mention, right? We
Okay.
got She-Hulk coming out of Marvel. So I don't know. I feel like this series is kind of going under the radar, which is a little surprising because I thought She-Hulk was, everybody wanted to get ready for the She-Hulk show and stuff like that. But the story is just like really, I don't know, low key slice of life, right? It's just She-Hulk being She-Hulk, and
Okay.
there's some cameos from other people in the Marvel universe, but it very feels like it's separate from all that stuff. And I feel like you don't really have to know. 'Cause this is how I was, right? I haven't read the last, 3 She-Hulk runs, so I feel like someone could just pick it up and go. They catch you up pretty quick, and I don't know. She's just a really fun character to
That's one of those
see the
that,
life of, right?
That's
So,
one of those that I'm actually mad because when issue number 1 came out, I think I was transitioning jobs, like I was switching jobs, and I didn't have a lot of money, so I was like, you know what, I can't get this right now, and now they're on issue number 9, and it'd be super hard to catch up. Just like show up one day and buy it
so
in 9 issues.
So you mentioned it, right? I think that the series is, unfortunately, I think the series is coming to an end. So I think if you wanted to, it wouldn't be like super crazy, like to wait for a oversized trade paperback or something like that. Um, which I don't know if it's because they haven't like renewed it for more issues, or if it literally was supposed to be an 8 issue or whatever from the start. Trying to find it here on my list. But yeah, I've really been enjoying it. I definitely recommend it. Issue number 10 is the last one that I can see, and that's coming out in January of next year. So I don't know.
Well,
That was always the
I
plan.
would think the show being that good would make the book sell more. But
Right.
sometimes it doesn't go well. I mean, it's a great transition. It's not exactly a 2022 series, but it had a 2022 event. So,
Okay.
great transition. Hulk by Donny Cates. It had the Banner of War event, which was a 2022 event. It's a crossover with Thor, and it was amazing. I honestly loved it. I know some people don't like what Donny Cates is doing with Hulk, but I enjoy it. You know, Donny Cates has this
Yeah,
thing where he wants to make every character the most powerful they've ever been.
for sure. He really does just feel like he's a kid with a toy box, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh, you mean I get to mess with Hulk now, and I get to like, push the boundaries on Hulk, because he's already had success doing that sort of thing with Thor,
yeah.
and in Venom and stuff too, right? So it's like, yeah, it really does feel like he enjoys playing with the elements of the Marvel universe, and I've been enjoying Hulk. It hasn't been like my favorite series coming out of Marvel, but I can say this though, the art is really fantastic.
Oh, it's
Ryan
great.
Otley on the art.
It's great.
So, in the Banner of War storyline was really good. I felt like they built to it well, and
Oh
I
yeah.
haven't read. I guess they took a break, right? So I haven't read the finale of it, but
Yeah, it just came
it's
out. The
pretty good.
latest Hulk issue just came out, so it
Gotcha.
was good. And I mean, it's one of those things. Donny Cates is an interesting writer because I was watching an interview where he was like, "I will never touch Spider-Man." He was like, "I'll put him in an issue or two, but He says like Spider-Man sort of like reminds him of like childhood, and he wouldn't like he likes to make his characters go through it. Um, actually,
Right.
we can curse it. Go through shit. It's our show.
Yeah.
Uh, And Spider-Man is apparently so close to like his heart and his childhood that he wouldn't want to do that. Like he wouldn't like Spider-Man suffers enough.
That's so true. Yeah.
Spider-Man has like the worst life. But I kind of like it.
And they keep resetting him too.
It feels sad to say that like if he was in a better spot, I'd probably be like, I don't want to read this. He's happy.
Right.
What the fuck, man? Peter Parker's happy.
Yeah, dude. So that was it for my honorable mentions. I don't know if you had another one.
I'll just say Twig. It's fun. Twig is a fun book. I don't know what else to say about Twig. It's fun, and yeah, it's surprising. It's surprisingly dark.
Right. I think so. That might be a good. We're all about segues this episode.
This episode, we've been really like practicing.
Right.
It's actually all
so
scripted.
For me,
it's all scripted. We have it right here.
So for me, right, Twig is my number 5 that I could think, or number 5 that I wanted to highlight for this year, right? Because I think you're right in the fact that when Twig came out, it came out like super strong, right?
Yeah.
Like the world building and the character development. I think they played Scotty Young and what's the artist name? Kyle Strom or something like that.
No idea.
It definitely, like, the first 2 issues like knocked my socks off, and then it's still good, but it hasn't like I haven't read the finale. Maybe that's my
it
my
already
problem. I haven't read the
ended?
finale, but
I thought they were gonna
I think it
review
did. Right? It's I think there's rumblings about that, and I think it would make sense because they've done all the legwork to build like this world, right? Like you're only gonna have 5 issues in this world that you've thought of, like the mountain's a person and the mushrooms are doing, you know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you do?
Yeah, this episode's gonna be. This issue's gonna end up being titled "Segues and Speculation." That's all we've been doing.
Oh, write that down. Okay. So that was my number 5. So lay your number 5 on me.
So I'll put this as my number 5 just because like it's only 2 issues out and I just really like it. Survival Street. And like it's one of those books that like I don't know what the hell went like around like the writer's head, but it's just so interesting. You haven't read it, Cody, right?
No, I have not. What's the rundown, dude? Give me the rub.
So Sesame Street, right? You know them. Basically, it's 2031. It's somewhere around like 20, like 30, like 20, like 25 or something. They for some reason make Muppets illegal, and right. Like the United States starts being like owned by corporations, and like every like city has like their own rules. Like there's this one city where like every citizen has a gun, and even like babies, like talking like 1-year-olds have guns. Like it's just an interesting like take on society, and like celebrities are like heads of states, and I think it's coming from somewhere. I think but
Right. I can look at my window and it's kind of, huh.
I saw that today. Not to get political, but and these like Muppets, like these like puppets from this show called Salutation Street. They become like this like army where like they go like save kids that have like been like taken away from their parents, like like border like cages like type of thing, and it's just fun. It's like so like violent, but it's a good critique on society, but it's also like just a fun read. It's funny. All the characters have a lot of like things going on behind them. It's not like, oh, a puppet. No, like they have a backstory.
Right. That's one of those that so that Nerdy Papa Bear, second time mentioned him in the episode, but he has some great comic recs, and he's the only other person I've heard talk about that series. Who's the publisher? It's pretty
it's Dark Horse.
Indie, right? So it's Dark Horse, yeah. So I'm missed out on that one, but maybe I'll try to pick it up in a trade, because the premise alone is just like, it just makes you like, what? That sounds awesome, right?
Yeah, no, it's a book that I saw, and I was like, actually, that looks pretty fun, and I bought it I didn't even buy it at my LCS. I bought it in like a trip. I was like traveling, filming store tours, and I saw it, and I was like, I'm gonna give this a shot. And I read it the day I like from like a 5 hour road trip, got home, and I was like, let me read it, and I had to film a video just immediately. Um,
Yeah.
so it's just one of those that like it just got me, and I hope it keeps being great.
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, that's
No,
my
that's
number
awesome.
five. That's my number five.
All right, so I got a number four, right? My number four is Poison Ivy. This series is it like listen, I liked Poison Ivy, right? As a member of Batman's Rogues. And her relationship with Harley Quinn. Name a person on earth who doesn't like it, right? You can't.
I like it so much. It's my
But
number two.
yeah, dude, Poison Ivy, like I didn't know, I didn't even know the premise jumping in, right? I
No,
just
no,
saw
no.
that Poison
It's
Ivy's getting a miniseries. I picked it up. It follows the events of Fear State, but you don't need to know that.
no.
Who
You
cares,
you
right?
really don't. It's written by
Um,
J. Willow Wilson, G. Willow Wilson,
yep,
who
yep,
wrote who creator co-created Ms. Marvel.
yep.
Correct. So yeah, it's a fun run. It's my number. It's my top two ongoing series. It's on my list, Cody.
Yeah, dude. Dude, I was so excited. So going in, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy this because it's a miniseries about a character that I have liked.
Yeah.
But then once you start reading it, you're like, wait, this is only a miniseries? What are they doing? They're so stupid. But then they gave it an extension, so
Yeah,
that's great.
and I hope it keeps
Um,
going. Honestly, like it's one of those
for
things
sure.
that I just fell in love with the character. I mean, they do Poison Ivy so well.
The characterization is on point. The art, it like has some insane, like body horror
Yeah,
type.
and it's probably the
Um,
scariest book I'm reading right now, premise wise. Like where I see the book going, terrifying.
right,
Just
right.
concept wise, it's terrifying. But
I'm with you. So the concept, basic concept for those that are looking to get into it, and Christian and I both heavily recommend it. It's Poison Ivy on a road trip. She just broke up with Harley Quinn. It's filled with her like kind of writing a letter to Harley, kind of explaining
yeah,
what she's doing, inner monologue, right? But she's going on a road trip across country, and she's spreading these deadly spores, and that just are just
she
gonna destroy
the world. Yeah,
all the people because she's trying to get it, so that where the plants can fight back and there's no humans to mess up the earth, right? So another one with a little bit of social commentary, but
yeah.
it doesn't get bogged down in that. It is just story of, Poison Ivy doing her thing.
Oh, yeah, we don't even
Um,
know why they broke up, or at least I don't know. What's funny is that like she's going through something and we don't know yet what it is, that much. But she's going through
right,
some.
there's some mystery elements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's my number two. I recommend it to anyone. It's one of those books that just immediately caught my eye. I've been getting more into Poison Ivy since I started watching the Harley Quinn show. She's my favorite character. Well, after Clayface, but yeah, no, I was just so happy
Right.
to see it. It was just like, oh, this looks fun, and I'm glad it got extended because I could not live with just 6 issues.
Yeah. So along the same lines, I'm not gonna say Segue again because it might be getting a little old, but the ones I want to mention now, it's kind of a two-parter, so I'm cheating again. But it's both Batman series coming out right now. So you have Chip Zdarsky on one with Jimenez on the art, right? And
Yes.
then Detective Comics written by Rom V and Albuquerque is doing the art.
Yes.
Both Batman series are so good right now. It's like messing my mind up because ever since I've gotten into getting single issue comics, Batman hasn't been where it needed to be, right? Like
Yes.
different writer, like I came in at the end of Tining's run, you could tell he lost interest sort of, right?
Yeah, it happens.
All these different artists come in, temporary, different writers and stuff like that. But now it's like, okay, sweet. We have two solid creative teams doing like some of their best work on a character that I really love. Batman fans are eating good. It's great.
It's so good. It's my number four. I mean,
Nice.
I'll say this: it's which one's your favorite, and I'll tell you which one's my number four because only one of them made my list.
I think for me, I think Detective Comics has a stronger like theme around it, and I think that's what kind of puts it over the edge for me. The kind of like gothic opera, it's like really creepy, and the art does a lot of the heavy lifting.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I think for me it's Detective Comics, but that's not to say that
Well, it's so
the
good that you say
Batman
that's.
main series is
It's so good that you say that one's your favorite because mine is not. I actually
okay.
prefer I
Okay,
prefer the Zdarsky run. I don't know, it's fun.
nice.
I mean, I like there's some mystery to it, but I also feel like it's like it takes itself seriously, but at the same time it doesn't. It's
For sure. Yeah, there's like it's Batman like doing like little quips and stuff. Like that's something that we've been missing in the latest
but it's also
like he is
dark.
having fun with right, and it's still right, for sure. I like that Tim Drake has a bigger role. I
Yeah.
think Tim Drake's a character that is underappreciated, I think, over at DC. I think they don't really he is getting his own, series later on in the year, but for longest time he's been kind of just chilling when I think he's a one of my favorite members of the Bat
Yeah.
family.
And it's
But yeah,
not to say for me that the Ram V book is bad. It's really good. I'm just for me the thing about the Ron V Detective Comics run is that I really have to like I have to sit down to read. Like I have to like put
for
my
sure.
mind into like okay, I'm gonna read Detective Comics, and
Right.
lately I've been in a reading slump as well. So it's just one of those things where like the Batman books are just easier to read. The Chip Zdarsky run, just easier to like sit
For
down. You
sure.
can go fast, but that's why I'm enjoying more. It's my number four on my list. So well,
Nice.
I guess we can like I don't know if we're gonna like do a graphic or something, but it's my number four.
Yeah, yeah, we'll figure it out in post. All right, so my number two, right? The last two I have are image titles, which I think is pretty funny, but image is just absolutely killing it this year. I had to really try to not put five image. That would have been
Yes.
a crazy list if it was just image books. Okay, but my number two, Public Domain, written by Chip Zdarsky. um, written and drawn by Chip Zdarsky, actually, which is pretty
Oh, well,
cool.
that's cool. I didn't know
So
that part. I haven't read it yet.
yeah, oh dude, I think you would love. I think you would love Public Domain.
I own every
So
single
this is
issue.
a nice. um, so Public Domain, just to give people a little rundown, is the story of underappreciated people who work in the comics industry. Right, they're not getting paid as much money as they should. It's really a reflection on what's going on at in real life. Like let's say what's going on at Marvel, where the characters of the creators of these characters aren't getting, paid the millions and millions that they probably should when the character's on an MCU movie, right?
Yeah.
Um, so it's the story of this comic book artist from back in the day who created the most famous character in the world. His son is really fighting, like, dude, you should go and try to get, more out of it. Like you put all this work in and they're taking advantage of you pretty much, right? So it's this interesting, character dynamics and with the father and son and, you know, it's just like a really touching story on top of
Oh.
it being, for sure. Yeah. And I will say that, in my opinion, the art isn't super strong. It just does its job, and the story is really what brings it home for me. But yeah, I think it's so crazy to me that Chip Zdarsky can, write a really awesome Daredevil comic, and he's doing really good character work with small things, over at Image like Public Domain. He's also on the Batman book doing
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? So Chip Zdarsky, man, he's having a year. But Public Domain, I definitely recommend it. If you're just a fan of like the comic book medium and the comic book industry as a whole, I guess I think you'll get a lot out of it. So yeah,
Okay.
Public Domain.
I gotta read it. I own it. I just haven't read it yet. I guess I'll go for since I already said my number two, which was Poison Ivy. I'll go for my number three, which like, I, it could be your number one, and I don't know if we're that in
Okay.
sync. No, I don't think it is. 8 Billion Genies. It's my number 3.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm loving that series. 8 Billion Genies. I remember like buying it, reading it on the day, and making a video about it. I was like, oh my god, I have to make a video about this. It's fantastic. It's blowing my mind. Like I was like, what the fuck? Where did that? Why did I pick this up? I honestly didn't even. I don't know why I bought it. I just saw it and I was like, oh, this is cool. And
Dude,
God,
that is awesome.
it's
Yeah.
such a good book. And then the day after they announced that it's picked up for a show. It might have been because of my video.
Right. Some Amazon exec is like, this sounds awesome. We got to pick this up.
This
No, dude,
comic book
that's
stash
great.
guy.
So I don't know if I've talked about it on the show before, but that's a series that I missed out on when it first came out. All the hype was around that book. All the prices sold out everywhere. The prices shot up on eBay. Issue number 1 was going for like $20 or whatever. I'm like, what the heck? I missed out on this. It's the one Image series I didn't buy issue number 1 of that shoots up and just loses, everybody loses their mind. But I did backtrack. They did some reprints, right?
Yeah.
So I was able to get my, it was like the first series in the longest time that broke Image's no reprint rule. Like they had it going for a long time where it's like, we're only going to do one. Don't expect any more reprints to come out for any series. But
Yeah.
8 Billion Genies was doing so well that they're like, I guess we are just going to reprint it.
Yeah.
So,
It's funny. I think it's issue number 2 or 3. They sent out some copies, and there was like a factory error, which like I didn't notice it, but I got it like a week before everyone. And then when they sent out the good copies, which was like the week it was supposed to come out, I got it for free. So there's one of them that I had like this like strange just like copy that I own that like apparently has a printing error, which like has been known to go up in value in the past. So exciting.
yeah, dude. So I guess my experience with 8 Billion Genies, I did read issue number 1. I haven't read, probably by now it's 2, 3, and 4, right?
Yeah.
But issue number 1 starts so strong. I'm excited to see where it goes. It's just I haven't read them, so it didn't make my top 5. But I'm sure once I do, it'll make my end of the year list.
So I think how it's
yeah.
going is the first issue was the first 8 minutes of like, so the premise is everyone on Earth gets a genie that grants one wish, which like this book put me in like a kind of a spiral, because when I was in like elementary school, I learned that there were 6 billion people on Earth, and I remember when they were like, now it's 7. And then I read the 8 billion genies, 8 billion. There's like only 7 billion people on Earth. And I realized it's been 20 years since I heard that there were like 6. So it made me realize about the passage of time and how I'm not a kid anymore. But the first issue is the first 8 minutes after everyone gets a genie. Then it's the first 8 hours on the second issue. Third issue is the 8 days, and then it's 8 weeks. So it's going, and it's so fun.
It's so funny to see the time and then the population of genies and the population of people, and it like when that ticked down in the first issue, I was like, that's so funny. I had to show my girlfriend immediately because I think it's so funny, because people legit would be just trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a strong pick, dude. I think that'll definitely end up in my end of the year list for sure. All right, so we both got our number 1s, right?
Yeah, I haven't done my number 1, so you go first, and then.
All right, dude. So my number 1, kind of alluded to it earlier. It's got to be Do a Powerbomb, dude. This series, I'm not even like that big of a wrestling fan, dude. And this series just has like so much heart. You can tell Daniel Warren Johnson, like, he fell in love with it. At the end of issue 1, he actually has an explanation of where he came up with the idea of the series. But essentially what it is this girl whose mom died in the wrestling ring when she was younger. And so she's grown up and she's wanted to follow in her mother's footsteps. People won't train her. People won't give her a fair shot because they're like, no, we're not going near you. Your mom died in the ring, right?
Your mom's dead?
Because like they don't want to be associated with.
We don't want to talk to you.
Right, because if she gets hurt, yeah. Right, like if the daughter gets hurt, then it's like maybe it's like a curse, or you know what I mean. Like some people are
That'd just
just
be
worried
a
about it, so they're
that
not
would just
giving
be
her
a
a fair
weird
shot.
a weird concept if it was just like your mom died. I don't want to talk to you.
Right. Well, so anyway, so she gets invited to this otherworldly wrestling tournament. So it's got like this supernatural element to it as well, and she has to team up with her mom's killer in this tournament. So it's kind of like an interesting twist. And at the end of every issue, dude, they just like hit you in the Daniel Warren Johnson, because he's the writer and also the artist, just punches you in the gut. He just doesn't care. He's like, no, this is how it is. Punches you in the gut. I'm like, oh, what? Why'd you do that?
I have to read it. It's one of those things that
Dude.
I have a I haven't read it. I have one issue with it, but I think it's more an issue with TikTok because they flagged my video for saying the word bomb when I talked
I
about
noticed that you've been saying, yeah. So I gotta think about that now. From now
I was
on,
doing
too.
do a wrestling move. Yeah.
Do a wrestling move, yeah.
But it looks like such a good show. I was into wrestling when I was a kid. Not that it's like, oh, I grew out of it, like it's for kids. No, it's for adults too. I just stopped watching because of life. And I enjoyed it when I was a kid. I mean, I went to see like a WWE event in person, and that was fun. So it does sound like something I would like, and I just thought it was about wrestling. So now that I know it's about wrestling and supernatural things,
Right. It's like this tournament, and if I remember correctly, I'm kind of saving up them. I've read issue 1 and 2, and I'm gonna read them in 2-issue chunks.
okay,
So if I remember correctly, it's like the winner of this tournament gets like eternal life, or you get to bring someone back from the dead, or something like that. But like that's like the carrot on the end of the stick. Like, it's cool, right? But like the moment to moment, the art is so strong, it's not even funny. It's just got such a style. It feels like a comic book, right? Which is
yeah.
kind of like everybody's giving Timothy Chalamet for like,
No, it was
feels
Harry.
like a movie.
It was Harry Styles.
Harry Styles,
man.
yeah.
Get your head
You're
out
right,
of
you're
the
right.
gutter.
So that's me saying it feels like a comic book, but I think it's so true that it's, it really does everything it can in the 1-issue format. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the twists and turns, man, it's crazy.
It
So
sounds good. Yeah, no, and I was Timothy Chalamet did say something funny recently, so like I understand. I understand where you're coming from. If
I get these dudes mixed up.
he said something like, "Yeah, I just picture a societal collapse." He said something like that.
Oh, that's the best sound. Okay, anyways, we're getting too out of the weeds, but
okay, I'll say my number 1. That's what you've been waiting for, Cody. So I'll
Let's
just
hear
go
it,
ahead
dude.
and say it. My number 1 at the moment, and I'm cheating talking about this because it started in 2021. I can't lie, But it's just such a good series, man. And they've taken a break, but issues have come out in 2022, which is why I'm not cheating entirely. But Nice House on the Lake.
it's
God,
a solid pick, dude.
Nice House on the Lake was one of those books that I went up to Brian, he works in my comic book store, and he was like, "Hey, what are you buying?" And I was like, "I don't know, I'm like lost." And he was like, "Oh, people have been reading this." And he just gave it to me, and I was like, "Okay, guess I can't lose much, And man, I mean, I have my issues with it because it's been coming, like there's been like 2 breaks they've taken, and like I can't remember any of the character names except for like Frank.
Right. So I'm with you, dude. That series has been lights out. It's one of my favorite coming out. But I agree with you where it suffers heavily from the month to month format. I don't remember anybody's name, dude. I get like the general characterizations, like, oh, that's the comedian or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you're right too. Like the breaks on top of that, it's like, dude, I'm gonna have to reread this whole thing when it comes back.
I remember Frank. That's the only name I remember.
Yeah, it's a strong series for sure, man. Tynion, he likes to do weird horror type stuff, and I was super lucky to get it when it first came out.
The one reason
the
that
hype for that one was real too.
The one reason I want to talk about that one, I mean, other than it being my number 1, is that like it's one of those shows that, we're coming off of the cancellation of Paper Girls, which I haven't watched yet, but it's super sad that it was canceled because Paper Girls is just this phenomenon in the comic book world. And my mom watched the show; she liked it a lot, So we're coming off of that, and I think of Nice House on the Lake, and I'm like, I don't know if I want them to touch it. I mean,
Hmm.
if they grabbed Nice House on the Lake, it would definitely be better as like as a series, not as a movie. I don't think it would work as a movie. I think it would do well episode to episode, but not month to month in comic books.
For sure. Agreed.
I think it would be a fun show, especially if they like make it in like a. Not to say that like Amazon Prime doesn't have good shows because they have The Voice, like you know, but I would kind of want to see where it goes, like on an HBO, where they can make something darker, and I think they have a better grasp of like, you know, like really making strongly written shows and great VFX. And I don't know, I think the darkness of it would lend itself well to an HBO Max show. But at the same time, I'm terrified of anyone touching that series because it's perfect, like the way I look at it. You
Yeah.
know?
No, dude, I'm totally with you. I think it's that world that Tynion has built is rich, and just the character of Walter and how menacing he is with like he's being nice,
You
but
see, that's
to
his
even
name. I
do any
thought
of this in the first
I
place
thought his
is
name
kind
was
of crazy.
Frank. I
But
thought his name was Frank. You know, I don't know any of the names. I
I
thought
thought
his name was.
I thought Frank was one of the other characters,
You
but
see, that's how
so I don't
lost
know.
I am. That's how lost I am. I thought his name was Frank. But
Yeah, man.
but man, that's one of those books that like if anyone wants to like really get into comic books but they don't want to do superheroes, volume 1 of Nice House on the Lake came out about 3 months ago, and it's
Yeah,
such a
I think that's
fun
right.
it's such a fun read, and it's honestly like one book that I can recommend to anyone, people who don't read comic books, people who just like, you know, stories. It's a very good story.
The art is so good,
Oh,
dude.
the art is one of my favorites right now. The mystery's great, the writing's great, and the art is out of this world. So that's where I'll finish my list. I kind of cheated
Yeah,
because it
dude.
started last year, but I don't mind because this. And I know I've
No,
talked.
dude. It's our show. We break our own rules. Yeah, it's like
We yeah, color breaking. But that's my list, and I feel like there's definitely like books I've missed out on. Like I know you're buying a bunch of books that I'm not reading. Beware of the Eye of Odin and all those books that like look cool, but you know, I sort of miss, and I don't like to like buy. When I see something that I'm not reading, I take it off my list immediately. I'm like, you know what, I'm not gonna joke about it. I'm not gonna read this ever. But those are my top five, and that's all I had to say about that. I think we'll definitely revisit this. You know, I feel like, I mean, we haven't talked about the future of the show, and we can talk about it as just a closing statement, just where we want to go with this. And
hmm.
we're not planning like it's still gonna be as relaxed as this. You know, we're just friends talking about comic books, but like I definitely want to do like certain events and things like we just could do like a Halloween. I would definitely dress up and talk about just horror books, you know?
No, that's okay. I just had an idea. I'll text you about it after. But yeah, I think we're in a pretty good spot. Comics are as strong as they've ever been. Maybe even stronger. Best time to read comics right now. We'll definitely revisit something like this, and we'll make it more formal, maybe, but still relaxed, like you're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, our top 10 of the year. We'll definitely try to get more people involved from the community. But yeah, that was episode issue number 4 of Color Break. Thank you guys for listening, and don't forget to rate us in all the services. Leave a comment. What are your couple series that you've been enjoying this year? Definitely would love to hear you. Leave some big topic suggestions down below as well. Yeah, that's all I got. Christian, you got any last words, dude?
Yes. No, I'm kidding. You can end it.